Yeah, the best value diver under $1,000. Okay, let me get this straight. I'm not saying it's the best watch under $1,000. I don't want to by any means suggest that it's perfect. I'm saying that for that price, when you compare it to anything else, it's really damn good. When this watch came out and I saw the way it looked, I was immediately blown away, even without not knowing anything about the specs. At first, for a budget collector, it might feel a bit expensive, and it's not cheap by any means. But then you get to know the watch better, then you get to know the specs better. You read and watch some reviews and you start thinking, maybe I could save a bit more than I originally wanted for this Master. Then you see a review from one of your YouTube heroes, Jody from Just One More Watch, and he said something like this.
The most boring watch I've seen all year.
You start questioning your decisions, your taste, everything you learned about watches till now. You're sad and depressed and you tell yourself you're going to buy Seiko Turtle instead. And then it hits you. Maybe you're not the one who's wrong. We don't have to like the same things. We all don't have to buy the same Seikos, love the PRX, buy the same Casio. No, scrap that. Everybody should get the G-Shock Square. Jody, although having amazing knowledge about watches, is actually originally Scottish, and as such, he might actually have a horrible taste. No, I'm kidding, I love that guy, and I bought a lot of watches just based on his reviews. But this time I had to disagree. I had to get this watch. The more I thought about it, the more I had to. See, this watch almost felt like that someone at Citizens said, okay, let's go into Carl's head and design a perfect diver for him. Almost perfect. Really damn close. Almost perfect. And since I'm sitting here and talking to you about the watch, you probably figure out I eventually got it. So let's have a look at it and what is it like when you don't listen to your YouTube hero. Let me this time start from the other side and the things I don't really like because there is not that many of them and one of them is not even on the watch. The packaging, because that was a bit of a letdown. Where the hell is the oxygen tank? This is a Promaster diver. I got this one with my EcoDrive Promaster diver. And I was hoping to get it again, because some online listing actually suggested that the watch came in the red oxygen tank. But no, Carol got a box. Whatever. The second thing I didn't like was the strap. Okay, didn't like is not exactly accurate. I actually really liked the way it looked. It widens right behind the look, so it looks wider and more masculine, and the taper is more dramatic. I really liked it. The problem I got with it, it's a damn dirt magnet. It's impossible to keep it clean, especially if you have one of these running around. So I swapped it for this tropical one and I couldn't be happier. It looks awesome. And now let's move to the main thing because again, for the price, the specs are quite simply amazing. Probably the main one is the movement, right? Citizen owns Miyota, that is no secret. A lot of the reviews you will see suggest that it houses Miyota 9015, but based on the information I found, it's actually a bit different movement based on it. Citizen's exclusive 1951. 4 Hz automatic movement with hacking, hand winding, date display, 42 hours of power reserve, and get this one, an anti-magnetic hairspring, which is supposedly the main difference between 1915 and this one. It is rated -10 to +20 seconds a day. This particular one runs like +7 seconds a day. That being said, it also has some of the perks that Miyota movements tend to have. Unidirectional winding rotor being one of them, and noisy rotor being the second. A lot, and I mean a lot of reviews I saw back in the days actually almost scared me off from getting a watch with Miyota movement in the first place. Saying that thanks to the unidirectional rotor, it actually wobbles on your wrist and you hear the noisy rotor. Wait, what? I mean, unless you're like 40 kilo guy with 4-inch wrist, how the hell can 20-gram movement make a watch wobble on your wrist? And the noise? I mean, unless I do this, I cannot hear it. I cannot hear it while working. I cannot hear it while watching TV. I never can hear it. Definitely not out there in town. By no means it should be something to scare you off. Let's talk about the best part for me, the design. For some, too simple. For me, spot on. Perfect. The dial, black. Awesome black. Legible black. The right amount of black. No sunburst, no fume, no drama. Matte black. Applied large indices with even larger indices on 12, 6 and 9 and a small cut one at 3 because of the date window next to it. And for once I actually think that it's good that it's not color match and it's done on purpose because it kind of looks like the indices. I mean, what is the singular from indices? because from a distance it actually looks like the other indices, and it doesn't break the symmetry. The indices have also high polish frame and heaps of lume. They have this greenish hue in a normal light, almost being faithful to the original. Oh, did I mention that? This watch is actually a reissue of the legendary challenge diver from the 70s. That is also why it's called Fujitsubo, which is a barnacle in Japanese. One of the original examples was found on Long Beach, Australia after being submerged in the ocean for a couple of years, all covered in barnacles. And surprisingly, the watch still worked. Now it's in Citizen Museum, and if this is not a testament to how well these watches are built, then I don't know what is. The handset. The Mercury style handset on other than Rolex watches are always going to be a bit controversial. But the original had it, a lot of watches in the 70s had it, a lot of watches have it now. It somehow feels right here. Plus, they are not blind copy. They are partly skeletonized with high polish frames, the same color lume as the indices, and to me, they look gorgeous. I mean, it altogether looked very refined, almost like, I don't want to say luxury because it's not a luxury watch, but I don't know, feels right. The minute hand has a correct length. It has sort of a crease in the middle, so it reflects light on both sides in a different way, so it's way more dramatic. The second hand has a lollipop tip, and it sweeps in those lovely 4 Hz movement. I can't help myself but love it altogether. The dial is covered with a sapphire crystal with chamfered edge that is sort of recessed to the level of the bezel. So the chamfered edge goes under the bezel, if it makes sense. And it makes beautiful distortion on the indices. I mean, just look at the way it reflects the date window. Text is also just about the right amount. Citizen Automatic at 12, then the Promaster logo that I happen to really like, Divers 200, yes, Divers 200, it is ISO certified diver, and Titanium at 6. I'll skip the bezel and talk about the case now. That is because the case is made, as the last bit of the text on the dial suggests, of titanium. And not just any titanium, super titanium. Citizen's proprietary titanium, making it not only incredibly light but also incredibly, and I mean incredibly resistant. According to Citizens, it's 40% lighter and 5 times harder than stainless steel. Damn, it's next to a miracle. You know, although I would like to say that I have a big variety in my watch collection, I tend to actually gravitate towards more tooly watches, divers and sports watches, field watches, G-Shocks. I don't treat my watches lightly most of the time, carry it around like this. There is not a single scratch on the case of this watch. I mean, every single watch that I own in the collection has a scratch. This one doesn't. Nothing. Nada. Nichts. And a giant plus for me, it has this incredible gunmetal color. It's entirely brushed. I mean, very fine brushing everywhere. Very consistent. I just dig every bit of it. The crown is a bit smaller than I would like it to be, but it looks great. It's color matched. It's actually very grippy, so it's super pleasant to use despite its size. It feels very solid, smooth to screw and unscrew, and every click is very pronounced. Operating the movement is nice, just nice. Let's get back to the bezel. That one is not titanium. It's made from stainless steel, which will probably a lot of people hate that they didn't stay consistent with the material, but I actually kind of like it. It brings that little bit of bling that I would somehow try to get on the watch anyway. And in most of the cases, it reflects the gunmetal color, so it looks consistent by providing that bling. It's got a matte-ish aluminum bezel insert, with rather typical diver's layout, counting the minutes, and a lume pip. It is a 60-click unidirectional perfectly aligned, with slightly underwhelming action. I mean, it's not bad. Clicks are nicely separated, there is no backplay. They're just a little bit softer than I'm used to. It's got this like springish sound to it. This is actually my first titanium diver, and only titanium diver. Based on all the other reviews I've seen, this is quite common with this case material, so let me know in the comments if you have any experience with it. And it's probably better that it's softer. There is not a whole lot of grip on it. I mean, it's not bad, you can still perfectly operate it, but I wish they sort of finished the edge a bit differently. Just deeper, something to get a better hold on. With sweet dimensions, 41mm wide, 12.3mm thick, 48 luck to luck, and 20mm luck width. And get this, 70 grams on the rubber strap. G-Shock weight. I know this is not for everyone. I completely get the argument, oh, I like the weight on my wrist. I like to feel that I'm wearing something. And I do too, sometimes. But this is the single most comfortable diver I ever got to try, period. It's amazing. It's not so light you forget you wear it. It sticks to your arm, sport, work, or whatever, and it doesn't get scratched while you're doing that whatever. I don't treat this one nicely, and it still looks brand new. I like this watch so much that I even got a watch winder for it. I got a 2-slot watch winder because, you know, alpinist. Let's sum it up. I don't want this video to turn into a love letter towards this watch for me, but it's difficult not to turn it into one. At the time of making this video, you can find this watch for 570 euros on Amazon here in Spain. There is also a blue version with titanium bracelet for about 100 euro more. For that money, and it's a lot of money for a watch, but you get higher beat, incredibly reliable anti-magnetic movement, super magical titanium case, one of the big Japanese brands. I mean, one of the biggest Japanese brands. I mean, it's really good. And for me personally, it's absolutely beautiful watch. I think I'm turning into a massive Citizen fan. First of all, I kind of like this underdogs tattoos they have next to Seiko. Second of all, when you wear one of their watches, especially the Promaster watches, it kind of feels like they were really built with a purpose in mind. Like they can actually survive it all. It almost feels like that Citizen is the last real tool, proper tool, watch brand out there now. And that's all I got to say. That's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, as always, you can drop a comment of what can be improved for next time. And maybe in the next video. My name is Karel and this is Watch. Cheers.